On the night of my wedding anniversary, the scandal broke. Mark Evans, CEO of the Evans Corporation, was in the headlines for a late-night meeting with the popular actress Isabella. When she came to confront me, she was arrogantly pitying. "Ash, you should be more sensible. After all, love doesn't care about who came first. The one who isn't loved is the true outsider." I couldn't help but laugh. He hadn't even found a clever accomplice. "Love may not care about who came first," I reply, "but it does distinguish between decency and ethics. Besides, you know better than I do if Mark truly loves you. He had tried to control my life, to exploit my genuine feelings in the most despicable way, but caging an eagle always comes at a price." My name is Ashley. For 3 years, I've been a full-time writer, living a seemingly perfect life. When Mark's call interrupted my writing, I answered, annoyed. "What do you want?" "Who made my Ash angry?" he asked, his voice gentle. I softened, as I always did. "Nothing, just working late." "Remember to eat." My husband Mark was the perfect lover, always tolerating my flaws. He was my hero, the one who had saved me after a disaster destroyed my old life. Meeting him felt like I'd used up all my luck. I had a wretched childhood. After my mother died, my father sent me to my uncle's family. My uncle was kind, but always away. My aunt resented me, a resentment that boiled over after my cousin was born. I learned to be quiet, to obey, to make myself small. The walk to school was long, and the dark alley near home terrified me, reminding me of my mother's accident. One day, I begged my aunt for money for a flashlight. "Scared of what?" She sneered. "I work like a mule, and you want a flashlight?" After I apologized, she reluctantly gave me money. "Go buy diapers for your brother," she said, her face full of sarcasm. I was frozen. That evening, in that same alley, I was attacked. A sharp pain exploded in my head. The world spun, the light fading. Pain, so much pain. I struggled back to awareness in the nauseating dark, wrapped in overwhelming fear. I hated my blank mind, my rigid body. I hated that I couldn't fight back. Then footsteps. The sound reignited my will to live. I found my voice. Help. But my cries were weak, drowned by the wind. Before losing consciousness, I heard a child shout, "Dad, call the police." Then nothing. "Ash, don't be afraid, I'm here." It was Mark's voice. I lifted my head, confused. Mark? Wasn't he working late? His coat was still on, smelling of the cold winter wind. His forehead was beaded with sweat, his face etched with anxiety. I hugged him tightly. On my laptop screen, my novel was still paused. The overturned chair, the broken teacup, the disordered room. And me, curled in the corner, the phone still showing a call duration of over an hour. Another flashback. I had relived the past again. I heard something break. You didn't answer, so I rushed back. He patted my back. I just held him tighter. "It's so good to have you here." 13 years ago, the child who called for help in the alley was Mark. I was saved, but I developed severe PTSD. The attacker hadn't destroyed my body, but he shattered my soul. I could feel myself becoming an empty shell. The final straw came when I overheard the nurses. My aunt had taken the settlement money and abandoned me. Why was I always the one left behind? I decided to end it. On the rooftop, the cold wind felt like freedom. I closed my eyes and stepped forward. I was caught. Mark was there, along with the medical staff. He had come to visit, found my room empty, and saved me for a second time. "Don't apologize," he said, placing a get-well card in my hand. It had a poem in childish writing. "Suffering will eventually turn to wind and smoke." I held his hand, clinging to it like it was spring itself. After I was discharged, Mark wanted me to live with him as his sister. I refused. My mother taught me not to accept something for nothing. With subsidies and student loans, I put myself through school, working part-time jobs to pay off my medical bills. I knew his family was rich, but I couldn't take it lightly. I got into a good university and my life slowly got back on track. There, I met an old friend, Mark. Ash, I've caught up. I'm an adult now. Can I pursue you? He asked, smiling in the sun. We fell in love and married. Everyone said he was lucky. I knew I was. But then my PTSD returned. It made no sense. It was cured. Mark, my condition is coming back, I told him. Maybe work is too stressful, he suggested. Why don't you quit? I need my work. It gives my life value. So what? He said, and his tone was off. Even if you had no value, I'd still love you. The words chilled me. My health declined until I had to take a leave of absence from my job. The day I left, Mark picked me up. I hugged him, inhaling his scent, and froze. You smell different, he laughed. I replaced the synthetic mothballs with natural camphor. It's better for you. I felt embarrassed for suspecting him, but my instincts screamed. The alley where I was attacked was full of camphor trees. I tested him. I don't like the new smell. Let's use lavender? Sure, anything you say, he said, his smile perfect. But I saw the tells, the rapid blinking, the shifted tone. He was lying. Once the camphor was gone, my health improved. I started writing again and found success. A famous director, Wilson, was interested in my work. I spent nights finishing a manuscript and finally clicked send, exhausted but proud. Director Wilson's face was grim when we met. Ashley, I believe you're honest, but I need an explanation. He showed me a file. It was my manuscript, but it had been submitted anonymously hours before I had even finished it. My work had been stolen. At home, I was desperate. Mark found me after a PTSD episode, having broken a teacup. He was gentle, cleaning up. As he checked my laptop for damage, I asked, "Can you see if my novel's saved?" "I'd be lost without it." "Of course," he said. He unlocked my computer, went directly to the correct folder, and opened the file. It's right here. My blood ran cold. He had known exactly where to look. "Thank you," I whispered, the final piece clicking into place. It was him, all of it. I realized his constant refrains. You don't need to work. I love you even if you have no value, were all designed to cage me. He was a manipulator, and I was his masterpiece. He'd rather break my mind than risk me flying away. I decided to fight back. I went to the library to write. Before sending my new work, I mailed a sealed copy to my old editor-in-chief, Ms. Lindsay. I also arranged a video call where she recorded herself accessing my computer files. I had my evidence. I stopped taking Mark's calls. I needed him to make a mistake. When I returned home, he was a wreck. "Where have you been?" I provoked him, talking about my writing success. He stopped. "Why bother with this useless stuff?" I pushed harder, suggesting we get roses for our anniversary. He took the bait, his arrogance returning. I pretended to surrender. "I'll stop writing. I can't live without you." His satisfaction was palpable. That night, I secured the final proof I needed. As expected, Mark found another woman, Isabella, his childhood friend. On our anniversary, he was absent. The headline #EvansCorp CEO spends night with singer Isabella trended. I made fake calls, sent a desperate text. "I think you're just playing, right? Come home. Are you really choosing her?" Then I waited. The game was almost over. In the morning, I went to Isabella's complex. Soon, Mark's Range Rover left. My cold heart ached for a moment, then hardened. Good. No more guilt. I went to a delivery station. A kind delivery man, hearing my story, agreed to help. He took a fake package upstairs and returned, furious. She signed it. Guaranteed they were husband and wife. The shamelessness. He promised to testify. I had my key evidence for bigamy. I was free. Isabella came to my door, arrogant. Ash, be sensible. Love doesn't care who came first. The one not loved is the outsider. I laughed. It cares about decency. You know, if Mark really loves you, she trembled. So she knew what he was too. I was the last to know. I approached her. You've known him since childhood. If you can get him to divorce me, I'd be happy. Tears filled her eyes. Isabella, you have a future. Are you willing to throw it away to be his possession? She didn't answer. Finally, she whispered, I knew I couldn't compete with you. I wasn't advising her out of pity, but to save her. As I turned to leave, she blurted out, You told him no so many times, and he still ended up with you. I stopped. Rejected? I never rejected Mark. She paled, realizing her slip. It's just, in elementary school, I threw away the love letters he wrote you. He thought you rejected him, hated you for a while. Elementary school. Mark was in middle school then. The truth was a physical blow. The attack in the alley wasn't random. A mentally unstable vagrant suddenly finding family in a $200,000 settlement. A middle school boy bravely rushing in. Mark had orchestrated it. He created the broken princess so he could play the hero. My PTSD erupted violently. When I recovered, I knew the divorce could wait. His debt was much larger. I called him, sounding broken. I was wrong. I'll quit writing. Please come back. He did, triumphant. I asked him to take me to a trip to the mountains. It would be a second honeymoon. By a clear stream, I told him a fake legend about a blue fish symbolizing eternal love. He kissed me passionately, then used my hand to scoop up stream water and drink. We will never be separated, he vowed. I smiled. He didn't know that the upper reaches of that stream ran through grazing land, and that drinking unfiltered water there risked echinococosis, a parasitic disease. That night, I left him there and flew home alone. The script deadline is near. I'm sorry, I lied. I can't abandon my career. The net closed. Headlines exposed his plagiarism, bigamy, and the plot against me. Hashtag Evans CEO plagiarizes wife. Hashtag Mark Evans bigamy. Hashtag plotting wife's murder. He was arrested. In a televised interview from prison, he was disheveled, coughing violently. Not necessarily fatal, but it would torment him for decades, destroying him slowly. This was good. Sorry meant nothing. He had to feel my pain. I visited him in prison, wearing a bold red lipstick. He was shattered. You knew the water was bad. I just smiled. He begged, cried, said he loved me too much. Is this love? I screamed. I am a person, not your canary. I told him I knew about the $200,000. The hope in his eyes died. When you get out, cooperate with the divorce. If not, atone here. We were even. I returned to my newspaper. My colleagues welcomed me back with open arms. My first article was a success, a story of resilient women. Mark never got out. I received a call. A cyst had ruptured. They said he had beaten his own abdomen, causing it. He left everything to me. A proud man like him wouldn't live in decay. I finally texted my uncle, I'm divorced. He called instantly, his voice a comfort I hadn't heard in years. Ashley, come home. I told him the truth. I'm a widow. There was a pause. Yes, come home, I cried. Real family loves you unconditionally. Lies and harm are not love. Love is simply love. If this story stirred your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a dose of love dopamine. I'll keep bringing you more tales of passion, heartbreak, and redemption crafted for the ones who still believe in love. And if you stayed until the very end, thank you. You're the kind of soul who believes in love, even when it hurts. Love harder, dream deeper. Until the next heartbeat.